Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a lot of vowels, but I can sort that out with obelia. I normally prefer shorter words, but I don't think there's any sensible or any better alternative to this. 22. Not great. I have the Q with no U or I. However, the I of obelia is available. Actually, a play of just chi would leave a half-decent rack leave of compa. Can't see anywhere else to play the Q. If my opponent put an N under the I, I would have chin or sank. If I did play chi, I'd be keeping 3 high-scoring tiles. Okay, and it looks like I am going to be, since that remains available. Ordinarily, I wouldn't like to keep 3 high-scoring tiles, but there is some synergy between these. That looks quite good. Is there a bingo here? There could be a 7. I don't think over camp or camp over is good. No, what about camporee? And that has... How annoying. I think camporee is good. BAE is not good. So that has been blocked. It may not be good. I may be imagining it. Now I've got the pro prefix and the co prefix. I've got a couple of 2-letter sets to consider, all of which involve having 4 high-scoring tiles, so outside the range I'll have studied. So I'm not going to pursue a bingo. I've got eco map and pom ace as 7s. Now there's the floating A, which was the other floater I hadn't considered. Can't see anything there. Now, what about a play across the top here? O or A can go in front of B, so I want to get one of my high-scoring tiles here on this triple letter square. Now, I haven't seen anything yet, but of the high-scoring tiles, only the C goes above AB. I'm just wondering if I can get P, C, and M all on these triple letter squares and with the C where it is now. I don't think so. So what about just playing mock, keeping rape as a rack leave? And this is pretty good because cab only takes an S in front, so this is quite a tight move. I note that obelia takes an L in front for future reference. 25 points for mock. Not great, because I don't think there's a bingo here. However, it is balanced. I do have scoring tiles, so a play of frap somewhere would leave a decent rack leave. If my opponent doesn't have an S, they may struggle to score. Now, what about column 5? What are the hooks for mock? H and S and K for sure. What about A? Mocha, not sure about that, which is annoying because if that stays available, and it does, it could be my best spot. Love only takes an S after it. AE takes nothing. Now I could play Pram in column 2. Is Mocha good? Just not sure about that. I can't play around the Q. Now I'd rather play the F than the P, so do I have an F play onto this M? I don't have anything across the top because I've got nothing which goes in front of oboe. Maybe I should try a mocha play. Is there... Well, what are my alternatives? I guess just playing onto the M. Or what about just playing FA? Keeping a decent 5-letter rack leave. Dreadful score. So is Mocha good? It would be a front hook for Ochre. Okay, I don't think it is good. So why don't I just play FA to keep a pretty decent 5-letter rack leave? Great. I draw a blank. Now, Loon takes S and T after it. I don't think it takes a D. So with the blank as an S. Okay, I don't think I need to worry about that because I think row C is going to score more. So what do I have? I think I'm going to have to go through the alphabet because at the moment I've seen nothing. Ah, well, I have partner, which does play over the O, which isn't ideal. So let me see if I can see anything better than partner. That looks possible. Can't see anything. Ah, did I have paraded? I think I had paraded with the blank as an A. But again, I'm looking for something which starts above the I, or even better, or even further to the left if the blank were an O. But paraded starts above the O, as did partner, so that doesn't work. Die Dapper through a P. 14 minutes on my clock, so I don't want to hang around too long here. Paddler. Again, doesn't work. That is... actually, I don't have partner, do I? I have 2 Ds. Can't see anything there. Drapped. Padders. Okay, well, I'm not being swamped with possibilities. So, not partner, but paddler. But is that the best? It doesn't get doubled. What does Obelia take after it? Possibly nothing. I don't have anything with the blank as an S. Well, there may well be a much better bingo. And I think I've spent enough time looking for it. And this isn't too dangerous. 67. Great, that looks close to a bingo. I can't see a 7. Not too many floaters to consider, just the R of paddler. And I can't see a bingo through that. But my opponent may play in column 8 to take out this triple word square and provide an additional floater. I've got the out prefix. Great, my opponent challenges. He loses 5 points. I'm now 80 points ahead. Just looking at column 8 to see if there's a bingo lane through AE, but there's only 6 spaces after it. Now my opponent's opened up lanes, but only the T looks like a possible floater. That doesn't work. So how to sort this rack out? Certainly playing off the U. I've got the H for score. I've got an L for going in front of Obelia. tile doesn't take anything after it that I've got. Po takes a U in front, so I could play UH here. I don't like the vowel heavy rack leaf. I'd much rather play off the O as well. So I could play thou for 7, but that's 8 fewer points. Is this O worth 8 points to jettison? Not sure. Now, what about playing UH down here? 21, that's better. Yeah, I think I'll go with this. Not great. I've got the like prefix. Toe-like. Is toe-like good? Gosh, it might be, and if it is, then lunette. Great, another challenge from my opponent. So I've got lunette and toe-like if toe-like is good. I'm not sure. There's a lot of like words which are good and a lot which aren't. And this is quite a significant point because my opponent's bingoed. I'm only 20 points behind, and if toe-like comes off, I could be going behind. However, I think I will try it. I note that I have lorikeet through an R, so my opponent has actually blocked lorikeet, which is annoying. If this stays on, the board will be wide open. Toe-like 69. Oh, horrible. Great, it is good, fantastic. I had serious doubts about that. That was at the very bottom end of the range of words that I would play in terms of having a doubt. Now, I do have a decent lead, but I have a horrendous rack, but it's not bad enough to change. There's no bingo here, but what I can do is play dings down here, leaving a decent rack leave. 16 points, just pausing in case there's somewhere better. I've only got 10 minutes on my clock, 36 tiles to come. I spent a while earlier, so I don't want to dwell too long on this. I think any better player is only going to be slightly better. Not great. I do have a vowel, however, and I've got the Z, which is a good scoring tile. Can't see anything running from the S onto the triple, which burns the Z. And I do have some nice bingo-y tiles on my rack, so I'd like to get rid of the non-bingo-y ones. My opponent's scoring well. I've got death in row K. But is there somewhere for my Z? Zin is good. Can't extend that. I would even need an I for zinnia. Can't see anything through EA. It would be quite nice to keep my A, my vowel, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Can't see anything through LI. Now through an E, I would have Saz Hen. E of tranny blocked by dings. I could just play ZA, Zar and Add. 9 minutes on my clock. Well, having said I wanted to speed up, I'm now going quite slowly. What about a play in column 14? And what about keeping the Z for score next go? So that brings me back to death. Yeah, I certainly don't need to burn the Z cheaply. It's a good tile. And death keeps the A to go with the Z, which is good because Zar is a good word. 18 points, pretty miserable score. I overlooked a better spot for my H. Well, mindful of the time, I think I'm going to play this. Gosh, not good at all. A long way from a bingo. I'm going to struggle to play off the U with the Z. Well, at least my opponent isn't scoring heavily. Azzurn is good, and azzurns doesn't quite work for trannies. Or making ha. Ah, but I do have azzurns and loves. I'm 50 points ahead, so I quite like the idea of keeping the score going and turning over a lot of tiles. Still one blank to come. So azzurns 37, a decent score. It's fairly dangerous what I'm doing here, but I think this is the only way to burn the Z and the U, which I quite like doing. However, I can see a better spot. I think here is going to score slightly less, but is a lot less dangerous. Azzurn's 38. And I draw the J, which is a good scoring tile. I'm a long way from a bingo, but it's a balanced rack with scoring tiles, so that's good. Deathy is good. Still one wide to come. I'm looking around for J spots. Nothing is... Oh my word. And that was immensely foolish because I could have just played Azzurn. I didn't need to play the S. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to do right away. That was a terrible error. I was certainly confusing that with something which has newly taken an S. Maybe it's Azzurri, which now can be pluralized. Anyway, 36 for Azzurn. Great, Azzurn is good, and I have got a 60 or 70 point lead. I now know that it doesn't take an S. I've got a lot of 1 point tiles, which are bingo-y. But the combination doesn't look good with the duplicates and the U. I've got auto as a prefix with sat. Can't see anything there. And I've got the out prefix, but that's with satter. Tattooes is good through a Y. No Y's available. My opponent's struggling with vowels. Let me look at the vowel situation. 6 out of 19. Okay. So it doesn't matter if I have a vowel-heavy rack leave. What I would like to do is play off the U and one of the A's. Just looking to see if I've got anything up the top here. Don't think I do. It would need 3 consecutive vowels. I've got outer and auto on my rack. Having said I don't need to burn off a lot of vowels. It may be that I do. Five minutes on my clock. Auto, 18 points, which is a pretty decent score. This isn't particularly dangerous. Nothing goes in front of Uppo. I'm not bothered about a 3-letter play here. I'm keeping a decent rack leave. Although there are limited bingo lanes on this board. I have the J. So I actually have Joy and Yar, which will score quite well. Do I have anything through the I with my J? Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. 70 points for my opponent. He's now only 7 points behind. And there's 1 tile in the bag. I don't think he can bingo again, which means that Joy up here should put me in quite a strong position. Joy for 44. I don't think there are any other really massive spots for my J. Now, my opponent could have a 50-point play with the W or F next to this E. That's just one of those things. But I've got the S for going after love, so I've certainly got vats and loves. If I draw the E, well, probably most of these tiles I don't have an out. But this is, I'm 7 points ahead, so this is going to put me 51 points ahead. I think this is going to be a jolly close end game. I don't think I can take out this spot. Do I want to play Joys? It doesn't score as much, and I think I'll retain the S for hooking love, even though my opponent may go there. 3 minutes on my clock. Great, I have Vasts and Loves. I think Vast takes an S. Okay, well, that could have been much worse. Great, I was going to say I may not have any other outs, but I don't need to find one now. I have some doubt about this, but I think it's good. The vast ocean. But is there something I'm sure of which can go? I've got 3 minutes on my clock. I think this is the only spot I can see. So let's see if this stays on. Yes, it does. Fantastic. Okay, great. So the final score, 340 for my opponent, 407 to me, a winning margin of 67 points. So a close win. Let's see what I missed. I'm relieved about Vass. I think I was more uncertain of it than I thought. Anyway, this was me to start. I played Obelia. That looks good. My opponent plays Love. Ah, Korma. How annoying not to spot that when it's got a decent rack leave as well. Probably not too much between Korma and Chi, but it's annoying not to have even spotted Korma. My opponent's rack looks pretty good. Giveable. Wow, tricky bingo to spot. Now, what did I have? C5, Pom Ace. Ah, and back. Yep, pretty nice. Decent score, decent rack leave. And I played Mock for 25. Okay, probably as good because it's a decent 4-letter rack leave. My opponent's rack. He does not have a bingo. What does he do? He plays Loon. Now I agonised over Mocker. Just looking at any of the alternatives here. Okay, well, I think Mocker probably isn't good, which is nice to know. I played Far for 9, keeping a decent 5-letter set, and that compares quite favourably with the alternatives. Pram, not great at B2 because it opens up scoring opportunities for my opponent. My opponent's rack, he plays Geo. Now, surely I missed something here. B9, Padders, Obelia. Obelia does take an S. Okay. That would have been useful to know. And everything else starts at C4 in terms of bingos. So, and Padders didn't score that much more than Paddler, so nothing too much, or not as much dropped there as I feared. My opponent's rack, he plays Tile. And I was concerned to get rid of the U, so I didn't really think about playing High Oi. What did I do? I played UH for 21, and I still like that. Just. My opponent plays Tranny, and now I have Toe-like, which I was relieved to see stay on the board. My opponent plays Yex. I have a horrible rack, but pretty easy to sort it out. And by sorting it out, I mean getting something in the high teens and keeping 3 bingo-y consonants and dings was my choice. Nice rack for my opponent. Actinism, difficult to spot through that T. And this was my rack, and I ended up playing Death, which didn't feel great for 18. I could have played Hand. Oh, because Omar's good. Hand for 31, and I think that would have been better. My opponent's rack looks quite nice. He plays Slip, and now I disgrace myself with azzzzz. Not only is it a phony, but even if it had been good, azzzzz would have been much better. So a pretty big blot on my copybook there. My opponent plays iwi. I then play azzzzz, which is fine. And my opponent plays e. And at this point, I'm a bingo ahead, 12 tiles in the bag. It's not a great rack, but I'm able to sort it out with auto. And Utah, yeah, Utah a possibility given the vowel shortage. However, Utah keeps an O, 3 O's to come, so auto probably fine. Nice rack for my opponent. What did he do? He played croppers for 70, which is a good spot. And now I'm just 7 points ahead. There's 1 tile in the bag. I didn't think about J, but I played Joy for 44. Nothing obviously better. And I'm very fortunate with my pickup, I think. Now, at this point, well, nothing great there, which is going to kill my vast spot. And vast was the only out, so if my opponent had blocked that, I would have had to have found somewhere else for my V. But he didn't, so I played it, and that was the end of that. So, pretty exciting game. One shocking blunder with azzzzz, but I'm over that. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.